Thank you very much. So have we all had a great day, first of all? I want to see, because I know it's getting late in the day. Do we need to stand up or anything, or do I need to get everyone to dance or anything like that, or are we all good? All right, fantastic, fantastic. Well, I just wanted to, first off, I always love to congratulate you all for actually taking time out of your business, because at the end of the day, we're all in the business to help people. So I want to congratulate you, first of all, for investing in yourselves today. And like, LinkedIn, who's actually got a LinkedIn profile at the moment? Do a lot of us there? All right, let's have a competition to see who's got the most connection. Who's got less than 100 connections? Okay, less than 500. Right, now we're going over to who's got less than 1,000, so between 500 and 1,000, right. Let's start shouting out numbers. What have we got? Who's got 2,000 connections? Fantastic. We've got one left, so that must be it. Is there anyone higher than 2,000? No. Fantastic. So what I want to get clear before we even get into what we're talking about today is it does not matter how many connections you have on LinkedIn. It's irrelevant. It doesn't matter the size of your database. It's about the relationship that you have with them. And what I want to share with you today, and the key message I want you to get away from today is today isn't about social media. I hate that term. I hate the word. LinkedIn is not a social media platform. LinkedIn is a marketing platform for business, and it's a platform for you to be able to position your expertise, connect and communicate with your audience. So why LinkedIn? And I'll give you my 3 rules to life first so you can see that. For me, we mentioned it in the overview, for me, focus is absolutely everything. And I know, Ian, you spoke about this earlier today. If you're not focused, if you don't have a clear purpose, if you don't know why you're using a platform, what's the point in doing it? I know I'd rather go and sit on the beach personally. You might want to go and spend time with your family or your friends, but what is it for you? So out of everybody who's using LinkedIn right now, how did you actually come to start using that platform? I'd love to hear. I want this is going to be audience participation because it's late in the afternoon, so I want to hear your stories. How did you start using LinkedIn? Did you just wake up one day and you had a profile, or did you listen to somebody? Yes, sir. Invited to join. Fantastic.
Googled someone and saw them up on LinkedIn.
Yeah, fantastic. Who else? Has anyone had like the social media expert come and tell them you need to be on LinkedIn, you need to be on Twitter, you need to be on Facebook, you need to be on Pinterest, you need to be on Google+, you need to be on Dig, you need to be on all these billion other platforms? Has anyone had that? Yeah? And then, but they don't ask you, sorry, so what are your expertise? Who's your target market? What do you actually want to get? So focus is absolutely critical. For some of you, yes, we're all dealing with businesses here, but for some of you, your niche, your market that you're looking after, they may very well not be on LinkedIn. So let me give you a quick story about that. I was speaking with a gentleman probably about 8 weeks ago now. And I like putting out a little video series saying, Ask the Experts. And I said, tell us what your biggest drama is with LinkedIn. And he goes, well, John, no one's buying my stuff. Why am I using it? And I said, okay, well, first of all, who's your target market? And he goes, well, I sell stickers. You know when you go to the deli and you go and buy some ham at Woolworths? This guy manufactures and sells stickers similar to those that butchers use to put your paper on. And I said, so who's your target market? And he goes, well, butchers and deli managers. And I said, so are they really actually on LinkedIn? He goes, well, I don't know. So what are you communicating? So it's a perfect example of why you really need to be focused. Am I going to be on there? The second thing I love talking about is networking is a game. It's one of those things we're all in business. We are in the helping people business. Okay, would we all agree that if we don't meet and mix and mingle and help people, we don't make sales, we don't sell businesses? Would that be a fair assumption? Yeah. So networking's a game, and it's one of those things that you've got to love. You've got to love doing. You've got to go at it full force, or employ somebody else to do it and get out of the way and let them go and do it. Networking's one of those things that you've got to think that I've got to pay it forward. How can I help them in order to help me? So it's the old give is gain approach. I'm a huge believer in fair and equal exchange, so I don't believe you've got to give and then get nothing in return. There's got to be a return in there, but networking is a game, and daily actions equals a result. If you don't make those cold calls, if you don't go and connect, if you don't speak to your buyers, if you don't make an update and give huge value to your market, you're wasting your time. So they're my 3 rules to life. If you had have asked me 3 or 4 years ago when I thought I was a really cool entrepreneur, everything was the same except focus was passion. Passion sends you broke. You could be the most passionate person in the world. I'm pretty energetic, would you agree? I can jump up and do all those wonderful things. But without focus, you go bankrupt. That's what happens. So focus is everything. So a bit about LinkedIn here. This is a recent stat back in 2011. 1.8 billion business leads were transacted through LinkedIn's network. 1.8 billion, and that was almost 2 years ago. If we have a look at the demographics now, there's over 225 plus million people who have a LinkedIn profile. Locally, 4 million it says there. It's actually almost 4.5 million now in Australia, and that's only a month old, that stat. Okay, so these are business professionals. They're business owners, they're employees, they're senior executives, and all of those types of things. So these are the people that you want to be connecting with, that you want to be adding value to. Your buyers of the listings that you have right now are on LinkedIn looking to purchase businesses. There's so many. Would you agree that there's probably a lot of employees out in the marketplace that actually own small businesses? And they use that as a hobby because they're looking to get into business full time. So they might go and buy a little coffee shop, but they still actually keep their full-time job. There's a lot of that trend happening at the market, so at the moment, so they're there. One of the things that I want to focus on is I do a lot of work in the financial space and in the accountancy space. And speaking to a lot of the lenders now, you know, one of their biggest frustrations that they say is that the business market says we don't have available funds at the moment. You've got to jump through so many hoops to get a bank loan for a business. Whether that's true or not, and you've all got your own experiences and assumptions on that, and depending on what the business is, whether that's true or not, there is LinkedIn is a platform that opens up that funding opportunity through Asia. Would we agree that there's a lot of money coming into Australia now from Asia? So how can we connect with business owners who are looking to invest into Australia and buy businesses? LinkedIn is a perfect way to start doing that. So I just today is all about getting you thinking about how can we use LinkedIn better? How can we use LinkedIn better to connect with people? How can we use LinkedIn better to really position our expertise out there? And I'm all about monetization. If we're not going to get a result out of it, why are we doing it? So how do we turn those connections into customers? So there's 3 essentials that I wanted to really quickly talk about with LinkedIn, and I'll actually be jumping onto LinkedIn as well. Would that be okay today, so we can actually show you what I'm talking about? But the 3 things is you've got to have a clear photo. But John, I'm ugly. Who cares? Put a photo on there. This is your personal brand. LinkedIn is a personal branding platform. Okay, it's not a company branding platform. That's what company pages are for. LinkedIn is a personal branding platform. You're probably thinking, geez, John, you're harping on about that. Yes, because you need to understand that it is about your personal brand. You've got to have a clear headline. Would we agree, what would be a better headline? Business broker? Yeah. Or something specifically targeted about how you specifically work with hairdressing salons to maximise their profits and leverage them so they can go and purchase their, upsell or whatever it might be from how do we get you the maximum value for your hairdressing salon. So think about the headlines that you're going from that aspect. So many people will have marketing manager, accountant, whatever. No, that's what you do. It's not your headline. How can we actually capture these people? And we'll go into it a bit later, but the whole objective of LinkedIn is to get these connections off LinkedIn into your database. I don't care if it's an Excel spreadsheet or if you're souped up and use Infusionsoft like I do. Doesn't matter what it is. You need to get them off LinkedIn into your database. And the only way you're going to do that is to give them some form of compelling offer. It might be a checklist, might be a video series, whatever it is that's going to make their life easier. And finally, you've got to be authentic. So I don't know, I haven't looked at your profile, so I don't know what they are, but I'd have it a guess that the vast majority of people in the room probably have a profile that's something that's pretty much like a copy and paste job from the About Us section of their website, or it's a copy and paste job about their position description. Would that be a fair assumption? I do this for a living, so, it is. So you need to talk about you. Have we all heard of, or are we all familiar with the likes of Simon Sinek at all? So Simon's a great speaker and a great visionary as far as I'm concerned, and he talks about the whole process of how we communicate differently. This is my interpretation of what Simon talks about. And he talks about that so many businesses talk about this is what we do, this is how we do it, and occasionally we get why we actually do it. And he flips it on his head and he goes, no, you've got to be talking about why you do what you do, how you actually go and do it, and then what you do. So if you're a business broker, that's just what you do, from that aspect. And this is the approach that I take to LinkedIn. So you've got to think about why you do what you do. Why are you a business broker? Why do you get up at the crack of dawn every day, work your ring out to go and help people sell their businesses? What motivates you? What inspires you to do those types of things? And then you need to craft a lovely story about you, and position your expertise as to why you do that on LinkedIn. And this isn't just for LinkedIn. If you're using Facebook, if you're using Twitter, if you're using your brochure or your materials, you've got to talk about why. So why should I sell my property through you or my business through you? Why should I sell it through you? All those types of things. Why is it? Why should I transact with you opposed to the other 10,000 business brokers potentially out in Australia? Why is it you? What's your credibility from that aspect? So be authentic. Here's an example. It's of a cracking headline, I believe. I'll read it for those ones that can't see it. Woman in sumo wrestler suit assaulted her ex-girlfriend in gay pub after she waved at man dressed as a Snickers bar. Doesn't that make you want to read a bit more? I think it's a cracker. I'm gonna throw it on my LinkedIn profile and see how many extra hits I get. But I saw that I'm a part of a copywriting group on Facebook, and I saw that probably a month ago, and I went, I'm ripping that off. That is fantastic. But this is what it's about, is that when people land on your profile, you've got a couple of seconds, you've got a couple of split seconds, like a web page, like anything, to get them to take some form of action. So what is that headline? Why should I actually engage with you opposed to going to the next profile from that aspect? So we'll go and jump into that shortly. But 3 steps, this is what we're all about today, would we agree, is how do we close more business deals? Would that be a fair guess? Yeah? So 3 steps. For me, LinkedIn, it's how do we connect with people? And when I say connect, I don't mean just hit the connect button and away we go. So I wanted to give you some tips. So if you've all got your pens, you might want to write a couple of these things down. And if you've got questions, feel free to ask them or ask me later. So the first thing with connections, once again, I'm going to refer back to Ian because I heard you speak earlier. Templates are absolutely critical. So a connection template, literally go and create a Word document and save it on your desktop and just copy and paste it when you're connecting with people. Who would agree this may sound better? The traditional LinkedIn way, when you hit the connect button, will say, because you're somebody I know and trust, connect with me on LinkedIn. It's not even personalised or anything, so it's just connect with me. Or it could say, hey Margaret, it's John Bellamy here. Listen, as an avid networker and huge LinkedIn fan, I love connecting with aspiring people, and I love connecting with people who are using LinkedIn to its full advantage. So I'd like to know, would you be open to connecting with me? And then tailor that to your pitch. As a specialist business broker in X field, I love working and connecting with people, whether they're ready to buy or sell their business at the moment, and just finding out and just engaging with them, because I find that I get the best research, the best knowledge from speaking with business owners. I don't care if we ever transact, but you might be able to give me some fantastic tip that's actually going to help me go and sell this other person's business. So you've got to be authentic from that point of view. Communicate. Once we've got these connections, so if you've got 50 connections or you've got a couple of thousand connections, doesn't matter, how do we communicate with these individuals? So with LinkedIn, you've really got, in my opinion, you've got 3 ways that you can communicate. You've got a macro, a micro, and a personal level. So macro level is your updates. So sort of like you just put a random update up there. Check out this new listing that we've got. So it's not very targeted from that aspect. You might say, check out this new coffee shop that's for sale in Morningside, as an example, and then link them out. So it's just a macro. It's not really targeted from that aspect. You've got micro, so things like LinkedIn groups. Of those of you who are using LinkedIn, how many of you are members of groups? Okay, so how many of you that are the members of the groups do you actively go and participate in that group? And when I say actively participate, I don't mean putting a blog article up there going, hi, here's 3 reasons why to do this. By the way, buy my stuff. Because I don't know if you jump on the groups, that's probably 90% of it is people just going, here's a little bit of info. By the way, buy my stuff. And most of the time it's just buy my stuff. And I'm saying that politely. So with the groups, you can use it in two ways. You can use the groups to really leverage your connections. So you can start building new connections when it comes to LinkedIn. Or what I love to do is you can use your groups to really get specific and targeted. So if you really want to start building relationships with accountants in order to drive more leads into your broking practice, it would probably be a great idea for you to go and actually sort out groups that have got a high concentration of accountants or a high concentration of business coaches. So people who can actually feed you work, and start educating them. Start giving them value. Start communicating stories. You know, I was working with a business just last week and they had this huge issue, and it was because of this group that I was able to speak to Bob, who's an accountant in America, that suggested that I should actually talk to them about these other three options. It was fantastic because it enabled us to close the deal. The client was happy, the new buyers were happy. It was great. So use those groups to connect and to communicate from that aspect. And finally, on the personal side of things, in LinkedIn, you can actually go and tag your connections. So LinkedIn gives you the opportunity to tag up to about 200 different tags, as an example. So you might decide that you've got buyers who are interested in hair salons. What other, is it everybody else in niches, or are you all generic? Niche? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so correct. If you specialise in selling franchises, as an example, you can go and start tagging different owners of franchises. So you might go Baker's Delight, if they're a franchise, fantastic. I want to start looking for owners who own Baker's Delight and tag them under one set field. You might look at buyers. So for instance, if you know people are investors from, say, Singapore, you might go and tag Singaporean investors who are looking to purchase, who are looking to buy businesses in Australia. You can, yeah. So I'll show you how to do that in a second, just to give you an overview of it. But the beauty of the tag then is then you're segmenting your list. You're then able to go and personalise a message purely to those people. If you know that people are interested in hair salons, but you know somebody else is interested in a franchise in a different area, you can go and segment those communications, if you like, to those individuals. And finally, it's all about engagement. Once again, how do we get them to buy our stuff? That's most important at the end of the day, or else, you know, we've all got mortgages and families to feed and all those types of things. So if we don't make money, we're sort of defeating the purpose. So for me, it's about how do I educate people and drive them off LinkedIn by giving them some form of huge value and then asking them if they would like to buy my product or service. So for you, it might be, would you like to actually list your property? So I'm just thinking off the top of my feet here, and I think something that could be well worthwhile investigating for yourselves is maybe running a series of webinars to start educating business owners. They might not necessarily be looking to sell or anything, but start educating business owners on if they're looking to sell in the next 12 months, 2 years, or whatever it might be. We want to run a series of webinars to educate you on how you can start structuring your business. What are the 20 to 21 best tips that they need to start doing and thinking about right now, this second, if they're looking to sell in the next 12 to 18 months. So things might be, have you got your systems in place? I know we're talking a lot about that today. What is actually the true value of your business? Just because you turned over $5 million last year and you only made 100 grand, your business isn't worth 15 million. Yeah, it is, John. No, it's not. So giving them a realistic example. And the beautiful thing about that is you're bringing them in that top of the funnel. You're still educating them. You're leveraging your time by using webinars or checklists or video series or whatever it might be. And then you're just filtering down, and fantastic, the gold gems come out at the back end. So I have, like, to give you an idea how I use it, I have a 5-day LinkedIn bootcamp, which is a video series. And people opt in, and then they come through the funnel, and then they might come onto a webinar, and then they might engage me in a masterclass, they might engage me a one-on-one, do some corporate consulting, speaking engagement, whatever it is, but I bring them through my product path. So I've got different ways to communicate and monetize those lists. It might be that you could actually go and create a program and start charging people to educate them on how to structure their business properly if they're looking to sell. So even though, what's an average transaction for a broking fee? Is there an average? If you sell a business, what are we looking at? 10, 20 grand, 5 grand, 30 grand? Cool. So it might be, okay, well, if it's going to be $30,000 the average transaction fee, how can we get, in order to capitalise to make sure that we're getting more 30s, why don't we start a training series or a workshop series for business owners who are actually looking to sell their business in 2 years' time and charge them $500 or charge them a couple of grand, or link in with business coaches and say, hey, how can I get in front of your customers and educate them? A lot of what I do is working, like I said, with banks and accountancy firms to say, how can I make you look fantastic in front of your clients by educating your clients on how they can use LinkedIn more effectively? So it's all about adding that value. So I wanted to jump onto LinkedIn really quickly. Let's see if all this is still plugged in. So what we've got here is clear photo, it's strapping young man over there. Yes, he is single. Then we're going into the headline side of things. So instead of saying LinkedIn marketer, for me, it's leverage the power of LinkedIn and turn your LinkedIn connections into customers. And I literally send them, go to this link. So go to johnbellamy.com/LinkedIn Bootcamp. Congratulations, you can get a 5-part video series. For you, it might not be directing them to a website. It could be sending them to a telephone number. Call me today. So it's all about, for me, LinkedIn is all about generating leads. How can I get people into my funnel by adding huge value? So that's why you've got to think about, how can I get people in there? Well, so what I want you to think about is from a strategy point of view. Are you using LinkedIn to attract new listings, or are you using LinkedIn to attract buyers for your property? Just start thinking about that and how can we use it from that aspect. This next step is critical. There's this little thing called contact info. It's actually meant for you to put your contact information in there. Sounds silly, right? But probably 99.999% of people that I speak to have just got their email in there. That's it. But John, people might call me if I put my telephone number in there. Literally, that's the response that they get. It cracks me up every day. So unless your phone is ringing off the hook, you do not have a problem. Hire more staff to get the phone to be answered more. So put your contact details in there. If you've got a Skype account, throw your Skype details in there, especially if you're looking to work with international investors or even interstate investors looking to purchase property. You can have that video conversation. There is so much technology out there now that you can utilize. GoToWebinar, Skype, Infusionsoft. There's all these platforms that I can talk for hours upon hours on that. Get your vanity URL. So what most people will have is their name, and then it will be followed by a whole list of letters and numbers. You can actually change it to get your vanity URL. So it's linkedin.com/your name. So we can update those, and these are simple things. Next big step is here. This is about your summary. So why do you do what you do? This is what I was talking about before. Why is it that you do what you do? I know from speaking with people that, so mine, just give you a couple of, I've always been an avid networker, huge LinkedIn fan of connector of people. What can I say? I love it, I'm great at it, it excites me. That's me, that's what I love doing. And this is the critical part. That's why when you connect with me on LinkedIn, I'm going to show you how to do X, Y, and Z. So attract hot new leads, position your expertise, monetize. That's essentially my message. So the big thing is when people then actually connect with me, I back that up and give them the education on those sort of things. So I'm not communicating and talking about a nice little pink pussycat that was posted on Facebook last week. That's not going to help me get more business. So it's all about educating people from that aspect. So you've got to, people go, well, John, that's a real big sales letter and it's quite salesy. Yeah, I don't care. They either buy or they don't buy. I really don't care. Either decision's good. The problem is with most people, I'm sure a lot of people in the room will probably agree with this, is we give people too many options. So I want them to either go, yes, that is something that I want, opt in, or no, it is not. John's a fantastic guy or he's an absolute wanker. Either one is okay. I don't care. I'm a big boy, I can take it. So you've got to really get crystal clear, and like any website SEO and all of those types of things, you've really got to start using keywords. Now, I'm not saying just go and list every single keyword down there, but you've got to word them through your platform from that aspect. So we've got a couple of minutes left. So what I wanted to do, that's really all. I just wanted to share with you how awesome LinkedIn is and all of those types of things today, and how great I am. But what I wanted to do was just, if you want to contact me, there you go. Open up the floor and see if you've got any questions or queries about LinkedIn, because at the end of the day, it's about you guys getting the results that you're after. Yep. Searching for your target? Yep. Yep. So LinkedIn, the best way to do it is right up here in the top right, you've got this little advanced button. So if we click down here, see if the computer's... What we can do is we can do all these different types of searches. So we can look for keywords, names, titles, companies, located near Australia. What's our relationship? Are we already connected with them, or are we secondary connected with them? That's pretty much it on the free version. You can look at industry types and all those. And as you start paying for LinkedIn, you just get further searches. The great thing is you can actually save those searches as well. So if you decide, let's go to a save search here. So banking in Australia, second degree connections for me. So that's a safe search that I have. So I can go and click on here, and all of a sudden it gives me a list of there is 29,958 people with those second connection group members. So Melanie's a first degree, but she's also a group member. Third, their industry is banking and they speak English. So now all of a sudden I can start going through there and start leveraging my time and going, all right, who do I actually want to connect with? If I'm focusing on Brisbane, right, who are these people specifically in Brisbane that I can connect with from that aspect? Does that answer your question?
Can you communicate to that list, or is it...
Once you're connected with them. So the first thing to do is look at their profile and send them a connection request. Yeah. Have a conversation. If they've got their telephone number on their profile, pick up the phone and give them a call. I love this little function here. No one does this. Well, not very many. You can actually see who has viewed your profile. Here we go. So this is the last day as an example. So Shannon Harvey, is Shannon in the room out of curiosity? Hello, Shannon. So what I would do, I'd be really cheeky. I usually...
I was waiting for you to accept my connection.
Excellent, connect with me, connect, bring it on. What I would do, Shannon, as an example, is every Friday, I generally will go through who's looked at my profile in the last week, and some weeks there's hundreds and other weeks there's 10, and I'll go through second degree connection. Oh, okay, did they actually connect with me? Well, no, they looked at me, they landed on my profile for some reason, so I'll actually go and send you a connection request if you haven't done so, and say, hey, I noticed that you were looking at my profile just the other day. I'd love to know, how may I be of assistance? And this is a critical one. This is the last golden nugget because I know time's up. When people connect with you, respond to them and say, thank you. You might want to write this one down. Don't rip it off though, this is mine. 70% will respond to this and will lead to deals. Thank you, hello, whatever their name is. So hello, insert name. Thank you for accepting my connection request and welcome to my LinkedIn community. So thank you for accepting my connection request and welcome to my LinkedIn community. I would love to know, full stop, so this next part, you can change this. How are you using LinkedIn at present? Question mark. Speak soon, John Bellamy. That's it. Don't go in and say, hi, buy my stuff. Did you know that I'm the best-selling business broker in Brisbane? Did you know that I do this, that I do this? No. Start a conversation with them. 7 out of 10 will respond within 24 hours because they've just literally connected with you. So you're top of mind. So you've got to jump on that. And then once you start that conversation, they'll come back and they'll be honest. People will say, you know what, I'm hopeless. I've been on here for years and I have no idea what I'm doing. I've got a client at the moment now who's got over 12,500 connections and has never made a cent on LinkedIn. It's criminal. I'm like, what are you doing? So how do we communicate, connect, and engage with these guys? Connect them. Yeah, so I say, thanks for you connecting, blah, 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 blah. I would love to know. And then I say, how are you using LinkedIn at present? So tailor that for your specific audience. So I'd love to know, how long have you been in business? Or did you start this business or did you buy this business? I would love to know, hey, are you interested in selling your business in the next 5 years? Just really open questions, just purely to start getting them engaging with you.
Most of mine only got fax machines last year, so.
Yeah.
So I don't think I'll sell a survey through LinkedIn.
No, but you got to. That's what I said. Some of you, LinkedIn isn't going to be. Yeah, isn't going to be great for you. Yeah, I mean, Facebook definitely wouldn't be on there then. Actually, it could, because one of the biggest markets growing in Facebook is the 60 market, so maybe they are. But how do you sell that?
All those changes to your page on LinkedIn, that's all on the basic?
So I'm on the, you can make all those changes on the basic. The difference between pretty much, we good or? Yep. Yeah, the difference between the basic and the paid, there's different levels of paid. You can get paid from like $20 through to $500+ a month. Is essentially a thing called InMail. So essentially InMail means that you can go and send and connect with anybody on the LinkedIn network without having to be connected with them at all from that aspect. And the level of search that you can do and all of this. So I can see, if I just keep scrolling, they'll keep loading and they'll keep coming up of who's viewed my profile, whereas on the free version you can only see the last 5. If you're going to go and if you're going to use LinkedIn effectively, in my opinion, I would go and buy mine cost me $40 a month, and I'm probably getting 80 leads a month coming through LinkedIn. So my average cost per lead. $40 a month. Sorry. You buy what for $40? I'm on a premium subscription with LinkedIn. So it's like they start at 20 and I'm paying 40. All it is the different, the volume of in-mails that they call it, the volume of people that you can connect with that aren't connected with you, and just a couple of search things. But the business package, it's like $40 a month. If you're going to jump on it, get that one. Yeah, there's no contracts in it, so yeah. Oh, no, I've had my first real spam. Yeah, I've had my first real spam ever through LinkedIn about a month ago, and apparently my great auntie in Nigeria got in an accident and I've got $10 gazillion. But that was the first one, and I've been on LinkedIn for a while. You do get people that will say, buy my, nicely stuff all the time, and I just hit delete. We all get, there's the unsubscribe button, just hit unsubscribe. Yeah, it's fine, delete them. Well, that's it from me. If there's any other questions, just... Oh. One more, you're all right.
How do you do a group message? I've received group messages before.
Yeah. So okay, so a group message, within an actual group, you need to...
No, not for a group.
Oh, so if we're tagging people? Yes.
I think it's a group, but...
Yeah, so when I was talking about before with creating tags, so really quickly, probably the easiest way to show you is, let's see if LinkedIn's being friendly.
When's the next LinkedIn seminar? 101.
Marg, if you want to speak to Marg about that one, that will be fantastic. No, it's in August. So just to answer the tags question, this is how you send a group message. So if you go in and create tags, as you can see, I break them into lots of 50, write that one down, because you can only send up to 50 people a message at any given time. So for instance, Brisbane, 1 to 50. This is how generic I am with my tags, and then I can get really specific. Lindsay's an awesome guy. What you can do is you can literally go select all, and then you just hit message, and you just send a message. Please, 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 when you send a message, so let's just see this at the second, come down here and untick that box that says allow people to see each other's email address. Please untick it. There's so many people that get frustrated when, even though they can't connect with you through it, they can see who's on the message, so just untick that box. Yeah. But happy to come about LinkedIn and that, come and speak to me later and we can sort that type of thing out. Thank you very much, everybody. I really appreciate it. Congratulations for turning out. Cheers.